Hey dolls and friends, welcome back and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. If you're new here, my name is Amber Marion and I do weekly DIYs and hauls. If you're not new, hey doll, hey. Whoa, oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh. So today's video, I have some Christmas DIYs for y'all, but they are all signs. I really love how they all turned out. I really love creating DIY signs on a budget, and I know you guys are gonna like these 4 that I'm bringing to you today, and especially because it is a collaboration hosted by my good sweet dear friend here on YouTube, Jenny from Lovely Moments Creating. She got a few ladies together. You'll see Maria from Crafting with Maria and Barbara from Country Lily DIY Decor. These ladies are all extremely talented, and I feel like we are kind of the same in that we do really easy, budget-friendly, high-end decor using majority of Dollar Tree products. So I know you guys are gonna love this collaboration. So make sure you head down to my description box below. There you will find the playlist as well as a link to all of their channels so you can get tons of Christmas inspiration for this season. So with that being said, if you're new and love what you see, I would love also if you would consider subscribing and hitting the bell right next to it so you're notified every time that I upload. And if you all continue to enjoy this as much as I hope you do, I would also love and appreciate if you give me a big thumbs up, as it definitely helps out my channel. And I want to just say another huge thank you to you all, my amazing viewers and subscribers out there. You guys have been amazing to me throughout this entire year. I feel like everybody has just been in kind of transition mode, and I have kind of been here and there, missing, sometimes active. So I really appreciate y'all sticking with me and allowing me to take the time with my family and just figuring out things that I needed to figure out to get back rolling with YouTube. But I'm here, your girl's back. Baby, we gonna go. We gonna win, okay? So come on this ride with me. But anyways, with all that being said, let's jump into the video. First up, we have this Comfort and Joy sign. I really love this. So from Dollar Tree, I have this fall sign. It's just a regular 8x8 square sign. What I do is just remove the twine on the back from the staples, and I just use a flat tool from Dollar Tree's automotive section. Then I'm going to paint this using 2 coats of my ink Waverly chalk paint. Just give it a really good coat and on the sides as well. After that is dry, then I went to my Cricut to cut out a stencil vinyl saying good tidings of comfort and joy. Now, y'all know me and my transfer tape always has some issues, and I did a little bit with this one. I'm just waiting for my expressions like vinyl and transfer tape to come in the mail. So yeah, that part. But anyways, I got it up without many issues. But what you're going to do is want to make sure you smooth everything out so you don't have many bubbles. I had just a couple, but not much bleeding, so it was really good there. Then I took this little stipple brush. It's like these round flat head brushes from Dollar Tree. You can get I think 3 come in a pack, or maybe 4 come in a pack, I don't know. But what I did is took my Waverly chalk paint in white, and I just pounced my brush up and down on all of the wording. So good tidings of comfort and joy is all going to be white, and I just kept pouncing it up and down till I was satisfied with the thickness of it. I just did 1 layer of this. I didn't go back and do another one. Then I took my Waverly chalk paint in moss and a small paintbrush, and I painted over the greenery stencil area. And again, I just did 1 layer of this. I didn't do much. I'm allowing that to dry because then as I was painting, I realized I wanted a border. So I use these square dowel rods. You can pick them up from Amazon. I picked mine up from the Home Depot. So it's probably a better bang for your buck if you get them at your local hardware store. And I just cut them down to size on each side, and then hot glued them directly down to the front of the sign. After that was in place, then I removed my stencil piece and weeded out everything else that I needed to get out of this. I absolutely love how this is turning out, y'all, and it's so easy, especially because I had that Cricut. It made it so much easier, and I'm really loving using this stencil vinyl because it makes it look a little bit more homemade, and it makes it look not even homemade but even just more high end. So then next I took the back end of a small paintbrush and some crimson chalk paint and just did some dots on the greenery to make it look like berries. And this DIY is complete. It's absolutely gorgeous, y'all. I love this sign. I love making signs, period, but Christmas signs have a special place in my heart.
I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased.
Next up, I have a really easy sign. I call this my silent night sign, Obby. So from Dollar Tree, I have this calendar sign, and then I'm using these wood letters that I picked up from Amazon. My link to my Amazon store is in my description box below, so check that out because these wood letters are there. I turn it over after I remove the hanging pieces and the little hooks, and then I remove my twine and staples as well as my tag using my heat gun. I did have to sand down the back of it where the staples were. It was really easy though, there was no real holes in it. Then I took my truffle chalk paint color and I gave this sign just one coat because I am going over it with another color. And then those letters, I took out the letters that I needed and I'm going to use my ink chalk paint from Waverly and give those one good coat. After it was dry, I put a piece of painter's tape down because I'm going to section off just the middle part. So on the top and the bottom, I'm going to do my Waverly chalk paint in white. And I did 2 coats of this just so I can get a thick layer of this white paint. And then that way my brown wouldn't show through at all. But lately I have been noticing that when I do a darker color underneath and I sand it, it gives me that distressing look that I really love. So I took my finger sander to my sign once I removed my painter's tape, and the lines are so sharp. Then I placed my letters down and I'm going to use this super glue gel to place them all down. And now that they are all in place, I'm going to do a border on here. I didn't think I wanted to at first, but I realized that I really wanted one. So I took another square dowel rod. I think this is just like a 1/4 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch. And I already had one piece already cut out from another project I was going to do. So I just measured that against it and then just measured out the rest of the sign and cut it with my miter shears. And then just glued them down using my super glue gel. I've been loving this super glue gel from the original super glue. You can get a pack of 2, 3, 4 at your local Dollar Tree. So once I put everything in place, I also cut these at a 45-degree angle also, just to give it that really nice high-end look. And that's it for this one. Really, really love this. I love the natural wood color of the border. And I love the simplicity of it, but just the nice impact that it has.
Everything but you. These are the good times with you. Baby,
next, I'm making this Marion Bright sign. So from Dollar Tree, I have the Marion Bright wood cutout, and then I have a wood round. I picked it up from a pack from Amazon, and I'm going to give my wood round a antique color, and then my Marion Bright this crimson red color, both from Waverly. So then I take some painter's tape and then just tape off a little less than half of the wood round, and then I take my Waverly chalk paint in white and just paint that at the bottom, just doing one coat of it. After it's dry, I remove my painter's tape and then I position my Marion Bright sign the way that I want, because I really want the bright word on the white part. So then I take my super glue gel again and just put as much as I need to on as many of the letters. I think I do most of the letters, but I do most of the thicker letters. And then I just place that down with the super glue gel. It works really well, but it's not instant like hot glue, so you kind of have to hold it down. Next, I'm going to take an assortment of ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby and just kind of do some cheater bows. So I just cut them down to size and hot glue them in like a circle, then stack them on top of each other. And then I use this black zip tie that I got from a pack from the Dollar Tree, and I just tie them together really, really tight so that I get a nice, crunch or squish in the middle. Cut that tail off, and then I fold over my buffalo check, my red and black buffalo check ribbon a few times to give that the middle of the bow, and then cut off the excess that I do not need. I fluff out, He's all over the place, y'all. I fluff out the bow as much as I can, and then I'm going to put it a little bit like sideways on the sign because the Mary word is large on the M side. Then I have an assortment of greenery. Most of this greenery I got from Walmart and or Hobby Lobby. So I just cut off some of the stems, hot glued them down. It's really all glittery like greenery that I have, and then hot glue my bow right on top of that greenery. And this one is complete. None of my signs have any hangers. You can stand them up, but you can also add hangers on the back using some jute and some hot glue or staple it to the back. So just choose what you like to do, but I really love this one. Super cute and really, really easy to do.
And I've been longing to hold you close, forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh. La, 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 la.
For my last sign DIY today, I have this Jingle All the Way sign. So from Dollar Tree, I'm using this Let It Snow sled. This sled they have like every single year. So the first thing I did is just sand down completely the front side of the sled because you can't use the back once you remove all of the pieces. So that's what I'm going to do. This is what it looks like after I sand everything down, and then I remove all of the pieces, the top and then the legs, and then I try to remove as much as the paper that I can. Then I painted my sled using my ink chalk paint color from Waverly. So I did the body of it and the top. And then I'm painting the two legs using my white chalk paint. Super, super easy, y'all. Here we go. Bam. All done. Super easy. Thank you, YouTube, for that transition. Anyways, after that, I then painted my body and the top of the sled using my crystal color chalk paint from Waverly. I really, really love this color, and I am about out. This is probably all that I had left. It looks really clunky, but it worked for what I needed it to do, and I just gave one good coat of that. Then I have this Jingle All the Way sign that I got from Dollar Tree last year, and I just took off the galvanized phrase on it and then took some ink chalk paint and a chippy brush, and then just decided to kind of do some pouncing up and down on the wording just so it didn't have the shiny, you know, silver color. Gave it a little bit more distressing. I just kept going till my eyes were happy. Then I have this, I think these are like garland bells from Dollar Tree. I got these last year and I hadn't used them a lot, but I cut off 3 silver bells and they're all attached. So you just have to cut down the strings, and then to keep them together, I just tied them off using some jute twine, and I just did about, I think I wrapped it around like 3 times or something and did like 3 different knots because they kept slipping through each other. So try to keep the strings as long as you can when you cut them away from the gold bells, if you can. But I mean, it wasn't too bad. After that, I used some black acrylic paint and a brush that I just grabbed from my stash and just painted the bells. I wanted to give them not much of a galvanized look, but I wanted them black, but I also wanted the silver to show through so that it looked like it was faded a little bit. I let everything sit to dry, and then I'm sanding down my sled. Like I said, I like to paint my things dark underneath first, because then when you sand it down off of that light color, the darker color shows through. And this is exactly what I wanted my sled to look like. I wanted it to have that powdery blue like color, like it had been in the snow, but it was kind of like fading. You know, I don't live in snow, so I know snow doesn't turn blue, but I just wanted a like nice bright color for this sled. So after I was done with that, I just hot glued everything back into place on the back side. And I really eyeballed this. I didn't measure out where my legs needed to be, but it looks pretty good, right? Then I attached my Jingle All the Way phrase down with my super glue gel again. I'm telling y'all better get this stuff. It's really, really great. Next, I have an assortment of greenery again, and I'm just kind of placing that on the top right corner of my sled just until my eyes are happy. There's no real rhyme or reason. And then I just, hot glued the string of my silver bells right on top so it falls right on above the Jingle word. And then I made a simple black and white buffalo check bow, hot glued that right onto the front, really to hide all of the imperfections of me hot gluing down my greenery. And then for my hanger, I just tied some jute cord right through, fished it through the holes and knotted it for my hanger. I absolutely love this sled sign, y'all. It is so pretty. I have made a few in my day, but this is definitely my top 3. I can say that because I've only made 3. But I really do love how this turned out. Let me know what you think.
And I lit my house with Christmas lights, so you should come back home to me. And when we wake up in the morning, I'm gonna play those carols.
Alright dolls, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already, and also be sure to head down to my description box to check out the playlist and everybody else's videos in this I See Signs of Christmas collab. You guys are definitely going to love all of the inspiration that we're bringing to y'all. And again, be blessed, stay safe, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye!
I've been longing to hold you close, forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, oh, la, 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 oh, oh, oh.
I don't have much bloops today, y'all. Sorry. Caleb's at karate class with my husband, and Isaiah is busy watching Baby Shark on my work cell phone. He kind of confiscated that from me. He knows mommy's done at work at like 5 o'clock, so I just kind of closed my work computer, put my phone somewhere, and he's like, Shark, I want Shark. So I just let him do YouTube Kids, but it's just me today for bloops. And I did my intro in one take, and it was pretty good. Sorry guys. Love you though. Let me go come see
This is how it's supposed to be, making our Christmas memories. I've been longing to hold you close, forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be, making our Christmas memories?